And welcome back to White Train Wrestling. I am Trainwreck here with Mr. White.
What up, y'all? It's your boy, Mr. White.
And today we're going to be going over the previous week in AEW. We will be starting with Dynamite. And the first thing on the list is the Elite are back together. The Young Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson, and Kenny Omega had a trios match against the Don Callis family consisting of Okada, Takeshita, and Hechisero. The Elite got a huge pop when they came out. The Elite did win, and I definitely do see more coming from the Don Callis and the Elite as far as head to head matches, simply because Kenny Omega at one point was part of the Don Callis family, and Don Callis tried to bring the Young Bucks in, which ended up just pushing the Young Bucks and Kenny back together.
And I like this because, to be honest, this is the first time in a while that I've seen something interesting from the Don Callis family. And the Elite coming back, this all coming together, Kenny Omega being in the middle, that's just good writing. That's good work. This made me interested again. I was ready to be done seeing the Don Callis family until this happened.
Well, I'm still kind of done wanting to see the Don Callis family, but this definitely does give a little fresher theme to what's going on with the Don Callis family in the landscape of AEW. So, the next thing that we will talk about is the AEW World Championship contract signing for the three way at World's End between Samoa Joe, Swerve Strickland, and the Hangman Adam Page. This match is now a four-way match because the great and wondrous, sarcasm intended, MJF interrupted and decided to cash in his Casino Gauntlet contract to make it a four-way match at World's End for the AEW World Championship belt.
And I really just don't like MJF. And I don't know if that's just good character work or if he's really like that. But I was extremely disappointed to even see him come out during this segment. I didn't want to see him. The crowd didn't want to see him. The crowd responded in kind to that. I was excited about this match. Now I'm not so sure. But on the other end of that token, I'm willing to see what happens. Surprise me.
Fair enough. And you are correct. MJF does not have a lot of fans. As I alluded to earlier, I'm not a huge MJF fan. What I think is funny is he came out and said that he's not taking the easy way out. But what I find funny about that is this is a four-way match, meaning there are three other men in the ring, meaning MJF can do what he's done in every other match that involves multiple people. He can go hide outside the ring and just come in and end the match when something works in his favor. So I thought it was hilarious that he came out and said, I'm not taking the easy way out. When in fact, anybody that knows who MJF is knows how he acts in multi man matches.
It's absolutely foreshadowing. He's definitely up to something and is going to be something. And how are you going to say that you're not going to take the easy way out when you took the easy way in?
That's definitely a very valid argument. My other thing is he's not going to have a good time because while both Swerve and Hangman share a very similar level of hatred for Samoa Joe, all three of them men share a similar level of hatred for MJF.
And that's definitely going to play a major part in the match. The promo that they were running until MJF came out was gold. And I'm looking forward to seeing what happens with that. Like, does this work to their advantage? Do all three of them just finally get sick of this man? Or does it work to their disadvantage and cause, something to happen that MJF can unfortunately work to his advantage.
That is exactly where I think MJF is going with it. But as you said, we will see what happens and surprise me. The next thing on the list is the 8-woman tag match that happened. The teams were the current AEW Women's Tag Team Champions, the Babes of Wrath, Harley Cameron and Willow Nightingale, along with the Timeless Love Bombs, Tony Storm and Mina Shirakawa, against Mercedes Moné, Athena, Megan Bayne, and Marina Shafir. The team of Monet, Athena, Bayne, and Shafir ended up victorious with Monet pinning Willow, which in my opinion there was no reason for. Mercedes Moné is one of the most overrated wrestlers on the face of the planet, and they call Marina Shafir the problem. The only problem with Marina Shafir is that she's still wrestling.
And I couldn't agree more. I feel that Monet is definitely overrated. And why is Shafir still wrestling? Like, where is the crowd to chant "You can't wrestle"?
They're probably trying to hunt down John Cena to chant "You can't wrestle" at him. With that being said, I do feel that Willow and Harley are a great choice for the inaugural AEW Women's Champions. What makes it sad is because Monet pinned Willow, now they're giving Athena and Monet a shot at the AEW Women's Tag titles.
Cena makes sense. Monet doesn't make sense. This isn't time for her to be the tag team champion. She's already in a bunch of other things, and her current situation is so busy it has a full time job.
Yeah, I don't quite understand that decision either. But moving on, we have Pack and Fletcher had a banger of a match in the Gold League of the Continental Classic. Pack ended up beating Fletcher, which led to a four-way Fletcher, Okada, and Speedball Mike Bailey.
This was an excellent match. And I have to say that Pac probably dropped his best black arrow of his career for this. It was perfect. It was beautiful. It looked like it had more spins than usual. This was above and beyond. What an excellent finish.
Most definitely. Just a banger match all around. So, moving forward, we have the Dynamite Diamond Battle Royale, which ended up with Ricochet and Bandito being the last two in the ring, meaning those two will go head to head next week for the Dynamite Diamond Ring. And all I can say about that is go Bandito because
I am also rooting for Bandito here. I've been watching his work. His run has been great. Something beautiful out of a storybook, and I really don't need A Train, I mean Ricochet, to have anything else right now. I mean, this guy is the most mid jobber I've ever seen in my life. And I'm hoping that they're using that to put Bandito over because Bandito is already over as it is, but he needs something a little more to show for it, and I would love that for him.
I 100% agree with that. And let's just be honest here. If they give Ricochet the Dynamite Diamond Ring, it's not going to be much different than MJF with the Dynamite Diamond Ring. It's going to be the same story played out again. A heel using the ring to bash people in the face with while the ref's back is turned. And we've seen that story already.
Yeah, we saw it on an episode of Dave Chappelle with Rick James. Y'all just gonna keep rehashing the old Rick James story? He punches Charlie Murphy in the forehead and says cold blooded? Is that what y'all gonna run with Ricochet? Because I can guarantee you Ricochet is not Rick James. And he is not gonna be any good at that.
Fair enough. And then we've got the main event for Dynamite, which is the current tag team champions, FTR, against the Bang Bang Gang. I personally think it was a good match until the end. There was a bit of a botch where Cash was either a little late putting Dax's foot on the ropes, or the ref just wasn't in a great position to be able to see the foot go on the rope. But he did technically hit a 3 count before he noticed the foot on the rope and called off the 3 count. The match continued to where FTR retained. However, it was just really sloppy after the missed foot on the ropes spot.
Right, and we're all tired of the ref bump of doom, right? But this is not the way to fix that. This is not the way to replace it. If this was intentional at all and not an obvious botch like it is, this is not the way to replace the ref bump of doom.
Oh, without a doubt, not the way to do it. I think it was just a case of either the ref not being in the right position or Cash just being slow on his spot. So, and that's Dynamite for the week. We're going to move on to Collision, which was a very short show this week. Jack Perry got a win in Gold League action over Mike Bailey, which is big. It preserves the 4-way tie at the top of the Gold League. And then after the match, it was great. Luchasaurus showed up with a big bag of toys and a Santa Claus hat on his head. So it was Lucha Claus, and he handed Mike Bailey a fire truck for Christmas. Legit, a kid's fire truck. It was absolutely hilarious.
So this is great. I love Jungle Jack Perry. I love the theme Tarzan Boy. It's a song from my childhood, so obviously it's gonna resonate with me. And Lucha Santa coming out with a gift, like man, I want a present from Luchasaurus, man. Come on. I wouldn't care what it is, you know. You can give me a yo-yo, bruh. I'm 40 years old, and I'll take a yo-yo from Luchasaurus. You feel me?
Oh, who wouldn't take a gift from Luchasaurus? Like, yeah, I'm rowing that boat with you, my man. So moving forward, we have Alex Windsor is the new Rev Pro Undisputed Women's Champion. She beat Mercedes Monet, which in turn takes 2 more belts out of Monet's collection. Thank God.
And you know, she's got this one title situation. Now you're trying to be in the tag team situation. You know, pick a flavor, cause we don't like your sprinkles.
The next on the list is pretty big. Kevin Knight actually beat Okada in the Gold League of the Continental Classic, which, again, referring to the Perry over Bailey match, preserves that tie atop the Gold League standings.
And I feel like this is a good turnout because this is starting to really develop into something that I'm looking forward to. And not to be that way, but I kind of like seeing Okada lose.
Yes, Okada definitely needs to be brought down a few pegs. So that wraps up Collision. Then just some quick AEW notes. Bobby Lashley, unfortunately, is reported to be injured. A report came from Fightful Select, and unfortunately, he's due, I guess, to miss quote unquote quite a bit of time.
That's really unfortunate because Bobby Lashley has been doing so well in AEW. Definitely one of the people who came over from WWE that's really had a chance to shine. And I mean, like, he got a fresh new polish or something. And I'm going to be sad not to see him for a little while. But, you know, these superstars have to heal up. They're out there killing themselves for us every night. Are you not entertained?
Yeah, they definitely deserve their rest when they need it, and, more than most, they need to take care of their bodies. And moving on to the last piece on the list is something that I think is as big as John Cena's retirement. The Icon Sting on Saturday, December 20th in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, made his last public appearance in face paint.
This affects me powerfully because I saw Sting live back in 1999. Sting is easily a childhood hero of mine. I have loved every bit of his run in AEW. AEW treated him like the royalty that he is, a man, a legend, someone who could literally be dropped through a table and get up beaten on his chest. Some of the best in-ring performances ever, and it's a big deal that he's not going to be appearing in face paint anymore. Like, are we going to see Steve Borden in a suit?
Yes, as I stated, I think this is as big, if not maybe a little bit bigger, than John Cena retiring. He is the icon. He meant so much to the wrestling industry as a whole, not just one company. And him making his last appearance in face paint is a pretty big deal, especially for those of us that grew up watching him. And who knows? That's a good question. We may see him in a suit, like we're going to see John Cena in a suit.
And I am never going to get to hear Tony Schiavone yell, "It's Sting!" again. And that's a real situation for me.
As it is for a lot of people. And with that, thank you for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Check out our other videos, and we will see you again next week.